coming up on the 70% podcast.
That's one of the things that scares me, though, Amy. And when I say scares me, it concerns me. You know, I think to myself, okay, so I'm doing this podcast and I'm trying to talk to people. I'm trying to get people together to stop fighting with one another, to realize that, you know, the color of your skin, the height, weight, you know, all of that stuff matters not in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
And what we need to do is come together as a people and put the government back in place where they belong.
Right.
They belong working for us, not us working for them. And right now, we're working for them.
Right.
So you're telling me that all of these these publications out there, all these newscasters, none of them have an original thought?
You know, remember back in the day when it seemed like every news story came from the Associated Press?
In radio, we used to get, it was the gold standard. It was the Bible. We would get the facts. I know that's dating me here, but it would be, and
Yeah.
come through. The Associated Press was God.
Who took that over?
And I know we're going down into sci-fi. Woo! You know, we're gonna have the chip in our hand.
I was going to say, who are they, Mulder? Scully, real quick. We need a little bit.
Hey, can I be Scully? Please, please, please. Yeah. The Republicans suck.
Yeah.
Democrats suck.
Yeah.
You think we're going to be able to get 10 months and get people in and get this lined up?
Candace Owens.
Candace Owens.
Yeah. Let's get Candace Owens in office.
Do you think this is where she's going?
I have no idea. But if she ran, I would absolutely vote for her.
The 70% Podcast with your host, Amy Alexander and Mike Sewell.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 70% Podcast. I'm Amy Alexander.
And I'm Mike Sewell.
And we're happy to have you here this week, second week going into the 2022.
Yeah, the new year here.
Yeah, how's it going for you so far?
The month is half over. It's so crazy.
Not quite. It's a third.
It's half over.
Oh.
We're on the 11th. It's half over.
So you got really great scores in math, didn't you?
No, I did not. I did not.
Yeah.
We talked about that. 9th grade, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't get smart till I was in my 30s. So.
All right. Well, I'm glad you finally caught up. So, hey guys, guess what? Last week, after last week's show, we ended up being guests of a podcast called The Notorious Outcasts.
No doubt.
Yeah, a couple of guys. They are actually heading up a movement, I would say, or they have what's called takebackteam.com.
Yep.
And it is a website trying to put people together that want to make changes and kind of, they actually heard our show and thought that our
show complimented
what they're thinking,
their movement, where they're going and stuff like that. And the take back is more about getting everybody, being the same thing that we're doing, trying to get everybody included in on voting for the right people.
Right.
The people that are going to look out for the American people.
Yeah. Take Back Team is actually helping people get into those roles.
Right.
Helping them. I believe they're helping with like paperwork and, all that stuff, because anybody can become, well, I don't want to say anybody because there's always going to be, but anyone could become a candidate for office out there.
Right. Yep.
And if you don't even I think a lot of people think that politicians are all attorneys.
Well, they think they have at least political science degrees.
Yeah, no.
And not all of them do.
Well, yeah.
You have some politicians that are doctors.
Google AOC, everybody.
AOC?
Yeah.
What's that?
What's her name? Cortez. That has, she used to be a bartender, but actually she has a degree or something.
Okay.
I don't know. But anyway, yes, she's not an attorney. There are a lot of people that aren't attorneys that are in government, but that's just referring to the high end. They're talking about like school board and city council and things like that.
And those are the things that, if you want to get involved in your local communities, if you don't like the way things are headed, if you don't like the way the school board is handling things, that's the way to get involved. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the school board, we had that discussion the other day where we played Mike Gallagher's thing about remote learning.
Right.
And things. And I think Chicago is on their 4th or 5th day. And did you see, there was a report, sorry guys, I apologize, I didn't grab the link, but there was a report out about the incline or increase in suicide rates between 12 and 17 is 51%.
Are you kidding me?
I like I said, I wish I would have, after I heard it, looked it up. I knew where it came from. I'll have to see if I can find that link. But yeah, there's a lot of, you can't put people in solitary confinement, basically, and not expect some sort of emotional
backlash.
Yeah, I guess that's a good word for it.
Oh God, it's absolutely ridiculous that we keep going back and forth like this. You know, the logic doesn't. If you think about what we're going through on a logically, it's not the way we're handling things is not logical at all. It's not putting us in a better position. You know, we're continuously dividing the country. We're continuously putting people in, like you said, solitary confinement, basically. We're putting stress on the families. We're putting stress on the parents. We're putting stress on the kids, you know, and by doing such, you know, we're you know, creating a situation where people are becoming more and more depressed, you know?
Yep. And more, I mean, how many boosters do we have to? And there are some people, remember we had, actually the conversation that we had with Notorious Outcast was pretty interesting, and we'll put it out there at some point so that you guys can hear it. But we had talked about people that are complacent or content with things the way they are and don't really, you know, we always talk about the 70%. There's these radicals on one side and radicals on the other side, and the 70% of us just want to get along. What percentage of those people just really don't care or are like, so I was talking to somebody after the show Thursday or Friday, and she said, I think I'm one of those people. I don't care. If they tell me that I need to get a shot to go to work, then I go get my shot. Or, you know, if it's just the way and life goes on kind of thing. Is that how we're supposed to be? Or I'm not saying that's her thing, you know?
Yeah. And quite honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. If she wants to, you know, and that's living in a life of, you know, utopia, bliss, whatever you want to call it, where you're just blind to.
I don't think she's blind to it. I just think she realizes there's really nothing she can do. And if she wants to have, contentment in her.
But that's where they want us.
Okay.
That's what they want us. They want us in a position where we feel that we cannot fight against them, where there's nothing that we could do, and we need to just fall in line and be the drones that they want us to be.
Right. What do you say to the people that don't believe that the government is out to get us, or whatever the terminology is that they?
Personally, I say follow the money. You know, it's not hard to get online and dig up information about things that have been done in the past and things that are currently being done today. So let's just take one of the things that mind boggles me, and I'm not getting, it's not a race thing right now that I'm trying to get into, okay? But one of the things that really throws me for a loop is how Black America is still allowing the government to dictate to them that they should go ahead and get a shot after it's already been proven that they lined up all of the black men down in, what was that? I think it's Memphis or something like that, lined them all up and gave them syphilis shots, hundreds of black men, and gave them shots of syphilis, saying that they were giving them vaccinations, just to see what would happen if they allowed the syphilis to just run rampant in these people's bodies. So how is it that today, all of a sudden, oh, our government is good and they're going to treat us right and we can trust them. You know, so they give all of these black people syphilis, but today it's okay. We're just going to trust them. We're just going to blindly trust them.
Right. And we'll take that shot or 2 or 3 or 4 boosters, even though it has not even had a year to be under trial. I mean, we are their clinical trial right now.
And here's the thing: it's not a matter of get the shot or don't get the shot. It's not a matter of that. It's not even about that at all. Mm-hmm. What it's about is the division in this country. Okay, so like we said before, you know, first they used race, and then they used gender, and then they used this, that, and the other, and that's all they're continuously doing is doing things to divide us and pit us against one another, so that we can't rise up together,
right?
And stop this madness. You know, I mean, the gap between the haves and the have-nots is continuously growing on a daily basis.
You said follow the money. How much? I heard a number, $16 billion. The pharmaceuticals made, I think, the fourth quarter or third quarter on the shots and the boosters, the vaccinations.
Right, and as long as they can keep making money, they're going to keep making boosters.
Right, and
there's going to be another variant. It's always going to be another variant. That's what viruses do.
The next one is Deltacron. They're going to have babies.
Oh, wow.
Sorry.
That's what viruses do. They mutate. You know, that's what they do. They want to survive. They want to stay alive, just like we do. We want to survive. We want to stay alive.
Yeah, I just wish
adapt to our climate.
We did as much as a virus would do to stay alive.
Yeah. Together. Collectively fight together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that scares me, though, Amy. And when I say scares me, it concerns me. You know, I think to myself, okay, so I'm doing this podcast and I'm trying to talk to people. I'm trying to get people together to stop fighting with one another, to realize that, you know, the color of your skin, the height, weight, you know, all of that stuff matters not in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
And what we need to do is come together as a people and put the government back in place where they belong.
Right.
They belong working for us, not us working for them. And right now, we're working for them.
Right. Which is not the law of the land, and not why the Constitution was created.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly.
Even though they're trying to, And
the minority rules now.
Yeah. Well, the loudest, squeakiest wheel.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease?
Yeah, or something. Actually, it's the money. So people will, I really think journalism has been bought out.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, think about it. Okay, so people are going to say that you and I are conspiracy theorists because we're talking, conspiracy theorists because we're talking about stuff like this. But how can every news channel have the same narrative? Every news channel, if you look at them, they say the same things. Mm-hmm. So each newscaster is saying the same thing as the other newscaster is saying. How can they have the same narrative? So you're telling me that all of these publications out there, all these newscasters, none of them have an original thought? Probably
not.
I mean, seriously.
They don't get paid to do that. I mean,
but that's what they're supposed to get paid to do.
Right. But now they've, remember back in the day when it seemed like every news story came from the Associated Press?
In radio, we used to get, it was the gold standard. It was the Bible. We would get the facts. I know that's dating me here, but it would be come through. Associated Press was God.
Who took that over?
I can't tell you.
I don't know.
I feel like that. I mean, I don't know this. If you're going to call me a conspiracy theorist, all right, fine. I'll let you know what's going on in my brain. At some point, they decided to take over journalism, and I feel like it probably was Associated Press or one of those that just started bringing the news in, and people just repeated it. And then when they found out something different, because there's some of those journalists out there that should have been, oh wait, hey, this isn't right, whatever. They probably paid them off, I would guess. Mm-hmm. Or, whatever. But there is no way that our progression in our society and through the Industrial Revolution and then through the tech age comes to where we have nothing for news except for the people that tell us what the government wants us to hear.
Who was it that said, was it Rockefeller that said that he doesn't care who runs the government as long as he runs has the money? Was it Rockefeller?
I don't know if it was.
I forget who said that. I got to look that up.
Yeah.
But I forget who said
the
it.
Rothschilds, the
The
Rockefellers.
Rothschilds. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't matter who has who's running the government if they have all the money. If they're in control of all the money, it doesn't matter who's running the government. So
Right. Yep. And now I think it's pharmaceuticals that are really kicking it as far as that whole money, piling their money up. I mean, I don't know what the statistic is.
You still got the Bill Gates and the Facebook. What's the Facebook guy? What's his name?
But Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
George
yeah.
Soros.
Right.
George Soros. Yeah, he's a big. Did you know he's putting millions of dollars into campaigns in these little podunk towns to make sure that Democrats win?
And see, that's the thing. That's what I'm talking about. We need to get together collectively and vote the people in office that we want in office, starting with the school boards.
Right.
Starting with the school board, starting with the city council. We need to continue to vote people in office that we want in office. And even if we just start off on that small scale, eventually we'll get to a point where we can go after the bigger guys, the Congress. And
we don't have that much
eventually
left, Mike.
That. I know, and that's the scary part. They say by 2030 we're going to have one world order in place. By 2030. By 2030 we're going to have one world order in place, and I know we're going down into sci-fi. Woo! We're going to have the chip in our hand.
I was going to say, who are they, Mulder? Scully, real quick. We need a little bit.
Hey, can I be Scully, please? Yeah. Yeah.
But those are in power. The people that are in power are pushing to destroy the American economy, destroy American freedoms, and push us into a situation where we have one world order.
And why are there so many people out there that don't even think that's a possibility and just want to brush us off as conspiracy theorists?
Right.
Are they afraid?
Either afraid or complacent.
Or in denial? Mm-hmm. So their complacency puts us all in that position.
Right. So all the shows that we've done thus far was proving that there is a division between the people in the United States in a lot of different areas. Mm-hmm. However, I think we've also proven by not only our discussions here, but with the people that we've brought in, but our discussions on Facebook and stuff like that, that you can have a difference of opinion and still get along. Mm-hmm. That you don't have to be nasty to one another. You don't have to hate one another and things like that. And I think there's more people out there that are feeling that way. But what do we do next? Where do we go from here is the question. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now that we got a small movement going,
right?
How do we continue to push this forward?
That's hard to say because we got here by not talking politics, religion, and finances. And now we're talking politics and it's still a mess, if not more so. So in order for us to go anywhere, we have to have people understand that their one voice collectively put together with all the other ones can make a difference. Mm-hmm. And to keep your eyes wide open. I mean, 2020, we've got 10 months, 11 months. Nope, 10. Sorry. Before, so what was I saying about math earlier?
And you have the accounting degree. That's scary.
Yeah. That's just knowing how to use pencils. That's all good. So we have 10 months before the next election. Mm-hmm. Not the primary, but
no, yeah.
2022, November. The Republicans suck.
Yeah.
Democrats suck.
Yeah.
You think we're going to be able to get 10 months and get people in and get this lined up?
I'm hoping that we can, at the very least, do it in our own in our small little corner of the world. If we could do it here, then we can start spreading out elsewhere with the same narrative, the same message, and carry that throughout the United States.
How many city council meetings have you been to, Mike?
Counting the one that I didn't go to last week, none.
Ditto. See, we need to lead by example.
I know, but we know someone running for alderman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Andrew.
We need to have him on the show.
Yeah, Andrew Gerlach for alderman. I think a lot of people, me included, you're going through your day to day and doing your business and doing what you do to, be a member of society. And do you get involved in extra things? Yeah, I'm president of Service League of Green Bay. I help the community as much as I can. But when it comes to politics, I feel like people, me included, always think that because we voted already, there's somebody in there taking care of it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we all need to get a little more active. We all need to become more involved, Like you said, I mean, we do our little volunteer stuff. I'm starting to work with Color Bold here in Northeast Wisconsin, but that's still not enough. It's not enough.
Yeah, yeah.
What is that, by the way?
Color Bold is helping disenfranchised business owners understand what's out there for them. So it's just leading them to the things that are out there that could help their business.
That's my biggest concern. That's what keeps me awake at night. We have 10 months to not have these jackasses take over again or continue to take over or whatever. When we get to 2024, if they Dems sweep everything, we are done. We are done. And we will definitely,
if we're not done before then.
Well, and here's where I end up getting in. People don't understand. Okay, so I don't like the liberal agenda or mindset, whatever. That doesn't mean I don't think electric cars are a good idea. That doesn't mean I think everybody should carry a baby to full term, even if it's, it got issues or whatever. That doesn't mean, there are so many things that people, it's like that one topic that they find a way for us to be fighting about, and then that's the only thing we think about for each other.
Right. That's our brand.
That's our brand. Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Republicans are I'm putting this in quotations, God-fearing, flag, flying,
gun-toting,
radical.
Something, yeah.
And Democrats are tree-hugging,
right.
Anything goes kind of, but it's not like that.
But I get caught up in those discussions too, because it's like, okay, I know something because I read it or I researched it, and then somebody tries to tell me different. I'm like, well, show me your evidence, and they give me
because I feel
right.
A couple of things that really bothers me is when people say because I feel that way. Your feelings means nothing.
Well, and I do that too with my opinion. Like earlier, I was like, I feel like AP, Associated Press, had, because that's just like a gut feeling. Right. I don't know that for sure. Right. Nobody can, I'm just putting a theory out there or something that I just kind of has come together in my head over the years. But they feel everything. And
who's they? Just people in general. It's on both sides, though.
Yeah.
It's on both sides. But it's not like Democrat or Republicans are any better when it comes to how they say, "Oh, I feel like X, Y, Z."
Right. I'm just saying that they run on emotion. So you have your social issues, and you have your, and maybe it's just me. I'm my accounting background. I've always just been an entrepreneurial money person that, I don't want us to spend $30 freaking trillion to try to get where we are now. We're $30 trillion in debt, and here we are. We don't even have, but we don't have any debt. Hey, we're all miserable, but we don't have any debt. You know what I mean? We keep getting away from the goal, and nobody seems to want, either doesn't care about the fact that we're so far away from this goal of, not having all this debt and not having all these people fighting and not having all these diseases
and having more freedoms like we're used to, having.
Yeah. So I don't know. I consider myself a libertarian, and I am pretty sure that there are people out there that would consider themselves a libertarian if they just research that a little bit.
research what a libertarian is. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, so we've been talking about this, since we started this show. There's more people in the middle than they are on either side. So those people that are in the middle are probably more libertarian than Democrat or Republican. However, politically, that's how everyone is branded.
Right.
Democrat or Republican.
Or independent.
There is no libertarian.
No.
There is no.
Well, independent would be your closest thing.
Right, but still, how many times you seen an independent win? The last person that even came close as an independent
how do we
winning was Ross Perot,
Yeah.
And I just dated myself on that, and then they paid him to get out of the race because he was going to win. Either that or scared him.
Or something happened.
Or accused him of stealing votes from either side, depending on who won.
Right.
Yep.
Yep. It's crazy. But Republicans and Democrats are not doing the job.
Nope.
We need a different party.
Agreed.
And independent doesn't work. I think we just...
So if across the board, as Americans, if we decided across the board, we're just going to vote for the libertarian. I mean, what can it hurt at this point? We know the Republicans aren't doing the damn job. They get in office and all they care about are their millionaire, billionaire friends. We know Democrats aren't doing the job. They get in office and all they want to do is give money away to people who don't even belong in the country. That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah. Right. We're having a huge COVID outbreak, but let's just keep the borders open.
Yeah. And then don't vaccinate them as they're coming in.
Yeah.
It
doesn't
Let's
make
not
sense.
get on this vaccination topic again, because it just drives me insane that there's absolutely no logic behind that at all. Take this shot, you're going to be safe. That's like saying, okay, so when you're in your house, you're safe from the elements on the outside, right? And people that are standing outside are not safe from the elements outside, correct? Okay, so that's like saying that even though you have this house that you're in, you're still not safe from the elements outside. And that's not true. So if you're telling me that you got the shot, that's your house now. By having the shot, you should be safe.
Right.
You shouldn't have to worry about anybody else, whether they got the shot or didn't get the shot. And then they're selling the narrative that the reason why the COVID variants are happening is because the people that are not getting the shot.
Oh my gosh. Did Biden's last little speech, in public speech, I watched him blame the unvaccinated and how the unvaccinated should feel like we have these deaths on our hands.
He's selling that to the American people, and some people are buying it. I have a very close family member of mine who bought into that, and just today told me that it's because of people like me, the unvaccinated, who are continuously keeping this COVID going. That's why we haven't been able to destroy it. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Are you joking me?
So did you ask her when flu season was around and she had the sniffles if she stayed home?
I didn't say it was a her or him.
Or whoever.
I just said a family member.
Sorry, I don't know.
No,
or she.
What I said was, where did the flu go? Because we don't hear any. We used to hear about how many deaths there were.
So the flu turned into COVID, and then they couldn't conquer the flu, so they decided to just change it to COVID.
But we used to hear about how many deaths, how many people died of the flu every year. We don't hear any. Do you have any statistics about the 2021 flu deaths?
I don't.
Are they even out there?
I would more than likely.
Yeah.
You don't hear about it though.
No.
You don't hear about it.
But we used to hear about that all the time.
Right.
All we're hearing about is this COVID now. And
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this is not a real virus, and it's not really attacking people, and it's not really harming people, and some people are not dying from this. These things are happening.
It's the reaction of our leaders that is concerning, and how they are carrying on the this masquerade of, I don't even know what to call it. It's all, they've got us faked out into thinking that if it wasn't for the government, we'd all be dead on the streets right now. Like, iRobot style, or like, what is that other movie? The pandemic, or I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know how it's beneficial. I don't know how pushing the narrative that the unvaccinated are continuously keeping the virus going is benefiting the country at all.
Well, and I see the social media posts and people that scream at others saying, you know, you're the reason. Why do you? Well, if you're that afraid of me, then why are you coming near me? Why are you, you know, if you're waiting for the COVID to blow over, wouldn't you just stay in your house until all of us unvaccinated assholes died?
And these are the same people that went Black Friday shopping.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, yeah.
This is actually, I mean, it's starting to, it takes time. The scientific method takes time.
Right.
Data takes time to gather. And so I'll grant them that.
Mm-hmm.
It's taking time to kind of figure out and interpret the data. But I think we're kind of at the stage where even, I don't care if it's the left-wing media, if you want to call that in air quotes, or the right-wing media, everyone's figuring out that, guess what? You get the shot, you're vaccinated twice, you get boosters, you're still carrying this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
People are not, you know, and we're talking about the efficacy of masks.
Right.
We're talking about a whole bunch of things. This is the health of the American, if not global population.
Mm-hmm.
People are looking at all this data, and it's becoming less and less clear. We got to stop this. Where there's two types of people, good and bad, which means vaccinated, unvaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
People are making individual decisions based on their relationship with their own physician.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Plain and simple, full stop.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, but it's the Aaron Rodgers thing. I know he lied. Don't get in all that. Put down your phones right now. Listen. I'm just saying, everybody talk to your physician and see what's best for you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And if it's not best for your neighbor, then it's that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. So, okay. Right. Exactly. So if you get, what was that? If I got 4 shots, say I got a shot. Oh, this will make sure you don't get measles. Got another shot. Make sure you don't get measles. Another shot. Oh, you got measles. How many shots before, like, really, how many boosters does it take for them to destroy COVID to a point where we're not talking about it anymore?
Well, that's the thing. They're saying they can't destroy it because people are unvaccinated continuously help the virus to change or to mutate. Viruses, that's why we still have the flu. That's why we have not been able to defeat the flu, because every year the flu, which is a virus, mutates into a different type of flu. Sometimes it's weaker, sometimes it's stronger. That's what viruses do.
So if they would have treated the flu like this and said, okay, we're going to abolish the flu. Everybody put on masks and get your shots and stay home for 2 weeks. Would we be in the same boat? Or because the flu's been around for a long time and the flu shot has been around for a long time. So my argument, I'm like, I don't want to be a part of this petri dish. I'm going to wait until some of the studies come in.
Right.
I you know.
Right. Give me in 10 years, I'll get the COVID shot. Because then we'll see how many people have died from it or didn't die. The real data will be out there about all these people that are getting blood clots, all these people that are having aneurysms, all these people that are not being able to walk or work anymore. Some people not being able to talk. All the data will then be out there,
right? And there are underlying conditions that people don't even know they have. Like I have something in my family that I hope it doesn't genetically transfer to me, but I'm not going to go and find out 10 years from now that it did, and that COVID shot affected the progression of it.
There was the stop smoking drug, sensation drug called
Chantix.
Chantix, yeah. A lot of people were taking that, and some people were losing their mind behind it. Okay, I got a very close family member yet again that took that particular medicine and literally lost their livelihood. They're done. They will not work another day in their life after taking that medication. Nothing before that, but after taking that medication, they're done. There were stories about when we were going back and forth to the hospital trying to figure out what was going on. I was talking to the physician, and she was telling me other stories about people who took the Chantix. One guy killed a good friend of his, while he was on that because he lost his mind. A lot of people were getting angry. People were getting divorced because they were being so angry and upset at one another. Yeah, I did try it. It didn't affect me that way.
Yeah, I did. However, I remember trying back when I was here 12 years ago, maybe,
right,
or whatever. It gave me weird dreams. I didn't like it. I didn't sleep well.
Yeah.
Well, and everything comes with a risk. I mean, that's why they do clinical trials, and
that's
nothing
why they
is
have
100%.
All these things that this could happen to you and that could happen to you.
Yep. And you don't know.
Yeah.
Right, and it doesn't necessarily. They don't necessarily put the numbers.
Trials on this drug.
We did it.
On the vaccine.
We are the clinical trial.
Right, and that's where you lose me at. And you lose me in a couple of different areas. One, the no clinical trials.
Mm-hmm.
2, when you try to force it on me. 3, when you try to make me the villain because I won't take it. Mm-hmm. So those are areas where you start to lose me at. I mean, if this thing was that great, it should be. I'm not going to force you to take something that's good for you.
Right. Well, but they think, and they have convinced many people that we're all dumb.
Okay.
That we don't know any better. They know better, and don't worry, it's all for the greater good.
The flip side of that coin too, a lot of people that are not vaccinated are saying that the people that are vaccinated are dumb. And that's again, it's ridiculous. Leave people alone.
Right.
Let them live their lives the way they want to live it. Mm-hmm. Who cares? As long as they're not trying to force anything on you, leave them alone.
Right.
But anyway, what do I know? You got our opinion. That's our opinion.
Yes, we are not journalists by any means.
And that's the thing we need people to understand. Mm-hmm. That we're not scholars here. We're not sitting here with mountains of data saying, "Hey, this is what's going on. That's what's going on." We do a little bit more research than the average bear. Yes, we do. Okay, but that doesn't make us the voice of the people and make us, what we're saying to be gospel. So the thing that I want people to take away from this show is to, at the very least, do your research.
And stop and think that it is possible that the people that lead us are leading us in the wrong direction.
Right. Oh, well, here's the thing. Why would you not question your leaders? Why would you not? I mean, do you just take everything in blind faith and say, "Oh yeah, everything's going to be fine"? Why would you not question your leaders?
Isn't that what our military trains people to do?
To question their leaders?
To not question the leaders.
Oh yeah, well that's what everything trains us to. The military trains you to do it. Mm-hmm. Police officers are trained to do that. The what do you call it? The school system is trains children to do that. That's what we're churning out here, year after year. Mm-hmm. Are people who do not buck the system. But that's one of the things I want people to take from the show. I want them to not necessarily buck the system, but at the very least, do your homework, do the research.
Right. And then what? Then, okay, so you're a person that hasn't really been paying much attention or hasn't cared or hasn't done any research or even, has been buying into everything that's being fed mm-hmm. constantly mm-hmm. to everybody. And you see the light, so to speak, where you are like, holy crap, this doesn't make sense.
Right.
Now what do they do?
Now it's time to join the movement, Take Back team. And the Take Back team, mm-hmm. join the 70%. And let's get together collectively and start talking about this. We're on Facebook. We have discussions with people on Facebook mm-hmm. all the time. So get on Facebook, have those discussions. Let's talk about what we're going to do next.
Right, because we need to come up with something.
You don't have the answers. We're looking to the people to say, okay, let's first off, let's get a coalition. Let's get people together. Mm-hmm. Let's stop fighting. Let's stop hating one another for no apparent reason at all. for our differences. You know, let's stop hating one another for our differences, and then let's start getting together and finding out what we're going to do as a people to put our government back in line where they belong.
Right. It's not going to be an easy job.
Working for the people. So we don't really talk about ourselves personally much. I mean, we've told people that we are real estate agents and stuff like that. So I'm just going to jump into a quick little conversation about the beginning of the year. I've seen a lot of people online right now posting about how the year is starting off. You know, how are things going for you this year so far?
So far,
Not
the year is going well.
Okay.
I flipped the switch on my new business. So
Nice.
Core Realty Group, LLC, is officially a brokerage in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
yeah, buddy.
Yeah. So that was pretty exciting after almost 15 years of just kind of going through the system and learning, you know, the ropes and going up the ladder. I finally opened up my own shop.
I like it.
And yeah, we're 11 days in and nothing has imploded yet. There were a few things that I was like, oh, damn, I didn't know that was connected to that. Okay. Scramble, you know.
Right.
But yeah, it's been going pretty well. Preston's birthday was yesterday. So
Happy birthday, Preston.
yeah, and
Is he 26 now?
close. You're so funny. Yeah, I'm struggling with the cold. I have issues with, I don't know if you've ever heard of Raynaud's phenomenon. Apparently and from all the research I did, because my fingers, even though it's not below freezing, my fingers would get really numb and cold and white, like they're getting frostbite. But it could be like 50 degrees out.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So apparently, the capillaries in my fingers and toes are too small to get the blood moving regularly when the temperature goes down.
Okay.
As opposed to somebody who would do that, you know, it might happen to you at 30 degrees, but
Right.
for me, it seems like the older I get, that higher that temperature is. So now it's like, 60 degrees? Damn. I'm going to have to put mittens on. What the hell?
Florida is coming sooner than not, huh?
Yeah, someday I'll have my license in Florida and I'll just run my business up here and then help, you know, buy. I don't know. But I'm, not going to be spending my entire life in Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's for sure.
No doubt.
So, yeah. Yeah, otherwise, you know, I'm recruiting agents.
Nice.
What are you doing?
I'm waiting for you to throw out a spiel about your recruitment process here.
Oh no! I don't know why I threw that out there. It was like, yeah. So otherwise, things are good.
Good. Glad to hear that. So the year is starting off great.
Yeah.
No doubt.
We need to get more people to pay attention.
Yeah.
10 months, guys. 10 months.
I would really like to hear from our listeners. You know, we know we have listeners because we see them the ticks. You know, we see our
analytics or whatever.
We see our subscription ticking up every month. So we know we have listeners. We know we have people that are listening to our show. So if you're out there and you're listening, let us hear your thoughts and opinions. You know, chime in on Facebook, chime in on YouTube, chime in on Spotify. Any of those, whichever one you use the most of, just chime into it. Let us know how you feel, what your thoughts are about the things that we're discussing and things that we're talking about. And, you know, if you got some facts or data or some opposing information, I would love to hear it.
Right. Yeah. I think going back and forth and fighting with each other just because you don't agree doesn't get anything done. But if you can put facts in front of, I've changed my mind about things, you know, and once you put something in front of me and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I didn't have that information. Then
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of politicians end up, because when you run for office, and this is one of my concerns. I don't want to drag up my past. Like I don't want to see my ex-husband on TV talking about
What's wrong with your past there?
There's nothing wrong with my past. I just would like to leave it in my past,
Right.
Right. And
so that's why you don't want to run for office.
Well, no. If I had to, I would. I just don't.
Let's just skip all of that and make you the president.
That's what I was thinking.
Let's just, Amy Alexander for 2024.
Yeah.
And your running mate could be Condoleezza Rice.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I can't really think of who would I want to have as a running mate. That would be something, but I would have to stay in the White. Like I don't want to be a traveling president. I want to stay in the White. Well, in the age
you can't just stay. You got to travel. You can't just stay in the White House. You got to go to different countries.
You can Zoom. You can Zoom. I mean, there's a lot of shit that needs to get done. I don't want to spend all my time on a plane, and I can't. I mean, I'd spend.
So you could Zoom on the plane. You could get all the work done on the plane on your way to.
So then I Zoom on the plane and I get there and I'm like, oh, got that done and zoom back.
No, you could do other Zoom stuff. You could do other work while you're on the plane.
That's true. I think I would just want to. And on 9/11, I definitely, and the days surrounding 9/11, I would totally be in the war room, making sure that everything was. That I knew everything that was going on.
Buttoned up nicely.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to have that.
Oh, and I'd move the White House.
To where?
Miami. Just take over one of those drug lord houses on the beach. The Navy's right there. Nobody, yeah.
But what's going to happen when the hurricane comes and blows the White House down?
Then we'll move to the next one. We wouldn't rebuild it, that's for sure.
We'll move to
the next one. There are a lot of drug lords down there.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're getting silly now.
Yeah. I don't know. That's another thing. Like going down to Florida this year and seeing some of the damage from hurricanes in the past and stuff, and then rebuilding. It's like, this stuff is going to get blown down. Why in the heck you keep rebuilding? Well, because we keep paying money to go down there.
And keep paying money to get it rebuilt. Mm-hmm. When I was in California last year, over Thanksgiving, it was so heartbreaking to see all the homeless people out there on the streets. I mean, literally lined up for miles and miles and miles. And you hear a little bit about it on the news, but you don't really get to see it up close. And then when you do, it is so sad. Mm-hmm. It is so sad to see all the people that are they're living in campers and tents and stuff like that. And we're talking miles.
How is this even possible? I mean, I know our population is increasing, but we're spending all this money on all these programs. Where's this money going?
And why is it not going to the homeless? Why do we have that many people living on the streets in Northern California?
Do you think a lot of them are immigrants, or do you think that a lot of them are nationals that ended up losing jobs or whatever?
What I seen when I was there, I seen white people, I've seen black people, I've seen Asian, I've seen Mexican, I've seen all of them commingling together, lined up on both sides of the road and sleeping in campers that look like they belong in a junkyard, cars that look like they belong in a junkyard, tents, tarps everywhere. It was absolutely just heartbreaking. Mm. And how many billionaires do we have in California right now?
I don't have that number, but there's a few.
Why do we have that many homeless? I just don't get it. I do not understand it.
Right. Is California one of the ones that want to get bailed out, one of the states, or is that just New York?
I didn't hear anything about that.
I think New York wanted to get bailed out. Oh, yeah, Cuomo. Did you hear about Cuomo was done at the end of the year because of his sexual allegations. So, yeah, I don't, that's the thing I don't get. When you have leadership out there that's doing crap that we get ridiculed for or would go to jail for or whatever, and it just keeps on going.
And he'll be back in office doing something somewhere else, some other time down the road.
Right. Yeah. He'll probably be.
What was that guy that was caught texting? He was another New York guy. I forget his name.
Anthony Weiner.
Weiner, yes. Yes. Caught texting was
Yes.
a 15-year-old.
Yes,
Would
and
he get 2 years in jail or something?
I don't know.
Like that?
And his wife was the some sort of assistant or something to Hillary Clinton. And so that's how they found out that all these emails are missing or something, because she was sending them to whatever email that he had on that computer. I don't know. And we would never get away with that. But if we were the leader, and I mean,
we'd be under the jail if we did something like that.
right.
And that's the thing that I can't understand. How are they able to get away with all of this stuff?
Because they're making their own rules,
not be
because we're
under the
letting
jail.
them, because we're sitting here being complacent and thinking
Right.
we can't do anything,
Right.
because the silent majority won't stand the frick up.
We need to hold them accountable, just as accountable as they would hold us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
Again, we got to get together and vote.
Yeah. We got 2022, November 2022 is coming quick, and there are lots of positions in office that could be replaced with people that give a crap.
So
And
vote libertarian.
is that the message we're going to send out there?
Let's just do it. No, here's the thing. Seriously, how can we go wrong? We already know that if we vote for the Democrat, we're going wrong, and we already know if we vote for the Republican, we're going wrong. Let's vote for the Libertarian and see what the hell happens.
70%. This is the podcast. You two flip a coin, see who's going to, or alternate every year during a 4-year term. You're president, Amy. You're vice president, Michael. Then you flip every single year.
We already made Amy
Done.
president and Condoleezza Rice vice president.
Yeah, I do.
I'm the cook.
You're the cook.
I'm the cook. I just want to get paid.
Shrink.
You're supposed to live in the White House.
Right.
Just a little
All right.
guy
I'll
doesn't know anything.
Here's your crumpets, ma'am.
I don't even know what a crumpet is.
We're from Wisconsin, man. A crumpet. May I have more, sir?
I want my White Claw and my burger.
Wow.
Cheese curd, please.
Yeah. So see, the things like that will end up on national TV, and they're like, oh, she's so stupid. She doesn't even know what a crumpet is, and you want her to be your president? Blah, blah,
And
blah.
she drinks White Claw. That's a dead.
Right.
That's it.
We need to get somebody that's very popular to switch their party from one to
Candace Owens.
Candace Owens.
Yeah. Let's get Candace Owens in office.
Candace is on a track.
Is she too young?
Is she,
she too young?
Not on a track to be? Do you think this is where she's going?
I have no idea.
I don't-
But if she ran, I would absolutely vote for her.
Well, see, people can talk a talk. I mean, there are very people like Tommy Lahren, and I mean, very good at articulating and speaking their mind, whatever. But
Right.
when it comes to actually running
And putting
a
policies
country,
in place and things like that.
and it's hard to say how, because you have to be somewhat tough to be able to. I mean, you're basically making the fight. Well, there's checks and balances.
Yeah, I couldn't be president. I would be like Trump. I'd be telling people, shut the H up.
I would probably.
What did you just say? That was stupid. Get out of here. You're done. Next.
Yeah, I don't. That's But I think
I would get irritated really quickly, so I wouldn't.
maybe
I would
Trump
not
just
make
needs
a
to
good
become a
president.
libertarian.
Trump, and that's the thing. Trump used to be a Democrat. He used to be a Democrat. He
I
used
used
to
to
hang
be a
out with all
Democrat.
of them. He used to hang out with what the hell's her name? Hillary and Bill. Mm-hmm. They used
He
to
went
be
to their
buds.
wedding or something. Yeah.
They used to be buds. And then he flipped the switch and ran for Republican. But he said years ago that if he ever ran, he would run Republican anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway,
All right. Well, that's our show tonight. Thank you for listening. I'm Amy Alexander.
I'm Mike Sewell.
Please comment, like, and share.
No doubt.